to another episode of the Coffee at the 10-Star Home series by SUHO. Today I've got with me a pretty special group of people. On my right I've got Les and Joe from the Woolcock Group. Those are just the company that built this actual 10-star home. And on my left is the director of SUHO, Jim Woolcock, who's probably the brainchild of this whole operation. And today we'll talk a little bit about, well, both the involvement of Woolcock as well as how the original idea of Jim came to fruition with the help of Woolcock to actually create this building. So thank you all three for being here today. My first question that I always do ask when I talk to partners on the project is obviously, how did you guys get involved and what have you actually done? Now, pretty obvious that you guys have built the place, but what can you say about this?
I know that it's something that Jim's obviously been passionate about and keen on for years. I think there's been designs and discussions for years which have been on the table, so there's always been a conversation about how can we get it to work and are we interested in building it and can we do it, and as you said then Jim being the brains behind it ultimately found the right location and that went from design to then construction.
We all worked on a previous house 20 years ago now, which it wasn't an 8-star or a 10-star house, but it had a lot of these sustainability features in it, a lot of recycled timber and rainwater and solar back in the day before solar became usual as well, and that had a reasonable solar aspect to it, but it was renovation and perhaps didn't get up to the same sort of star rating level, but we were all involved in that project as well.
So you guys had a little bit of exposure to that already for some while through Jim, because for those viewers who are not familiar with that, Jim Woolcock is not a surprise that carries the same name as the Woolcock Group, so there is a connection, a long-standing relationship between SUHO as Jim's company and is Woolcock Group being the family-owned business by the Woolcock family as well. And to some extent it was it's a logical partnership, but it was also almost a necessity because talking to the designers of this house, it's one thing to actually design a 10-star home or next door an 8.3-star home. It's another to actually take it from that paper or the ideas that you were just talking about and actually create the house, because there is not a lot of builders in Australia, I would argue, that have any form of expertise with this level of energy efficient homes. So when that first question arose for you guys, can you guys jump on board and build a 10-star home? What was the first thing that went through your mind?
I didn't have any hesitation.
Okay.
I mean, I was very interested in it. So, and I think that
so was I.
Let's say the same.
Yeah. So there was.
We jumped in. When I jumped in blind, I had no idea until I started talking to Ruth, Geraldine, Jim, about what it takes to create a 10-star home. So it was a big learning curve for all of us.
Yeah,
that was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Let's be honest, like this, you guys are the very first builders in South Australia that have pulled something like this off. So that's one medal that you can carry proudly, I think. So that's a hell of a feature. And obviously, a lot of people ask it as well that come through this house. Who's actually built this? And I think some of that has to do with the exceptional high level of finishing. Woolcock Group predominantly, traditionally, is a commercial builder, as we know, and I think that you guys have actually been able to take the typical higher level of finishing on commercial buildings as opposed to residential buildings and bring that experience into this project. How is that for you guys to kind of go from that commercial space into a residential project like this?
I'd say the biggest challenge for Les would be that there wasn't the same room that we normally have in a commercial space.
Normally we've got a massive site to spread out. We got on here. Once the two houses were going, there's no room to move, so everything has to be planned and carried out in an orderly manner. A lot of home builders do it every day of the week. But this is a little bit different, being an inside-out brick veneer, and like Joe was saying. Just the challenge of keeping the job rolling, getting gear on site. It's not an easy road out there. It's fairly narrow, very busy. So that was another challenge. But
because we're first brick veneer, people obviously see behind us. You told me about how the challenge was to have all that brick Normally
everything
outside.
here,
and you have all
normally
the space.
outside, and it's inside. The outside's already done.
Yeah.
Well, basically done. So everything was inside and working over top of each other. So we got through it all right. We had some really good trades on the both projects, and really good trades.
Very, very good trades, and they were all interested in the project.
Yeah.
They were all very interested to understand the project. So
The openness that everyone involved in it has shown in willing, we're all doing something new, so being willing to learn on the job and get the project to completion. If you had people that were really stuck in their ways and they didn't want to make a change, it would have made the project even harder than it was.
No, I guess that's definitely a red line that I've been hearing while I've been talking with people on the project, is that the necessity almost. If you would just take a random build and say build this place, you're going to constantly be in a fight. You need to have tradies and builders that are really interested in the actual thought behind it, because we're doing quite a few things a bit different here than you would do in a typical build, I would imagine.
Oh, for sure.
there's a lot of different.
Yeah, and one simple example, also in terms of a challenge, and not only from a space perspective, but the windows that we see behind us, those are triple glazed windows. And something that I didn't really know is that one big challenge was the actual weight of this whole.
Les can talk about it way more. I only heard stories, but
it certainly wasn't an easy job getting the windows up the hill, let alone getting them
in
up there.
place.
So how heavy are these windows?
Oh, they're just heavier than normal windows. It's not out of control, but it's just another issue you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Triple glazed.
I think
It's not triple weight, but it's puts
No, yeah, of course.
I think the brickies or someone helped.
Yeah, we had a lot
put
of
windows
people
in. There was
for both sides. We had a lot of people here. Just to
there was multiple trades that were meant to be installing windows that ended up helping
out. Well, and that's probably again testimony to everybody, putting their shoulders under it and helping out, I suppose. And it's probably been helpful. We had someone from our studio quite actively involved, being on site quite a bit to coach and to help out with everything. Is that, you think, a key part of this whole project as well? Because I wouldn't imagine that normally an architect is that actively involved and on site to assist.
I think that there was times where it was important.
Yeah,
it was needed.
Initially, Geraldine from SUHO was here a lot, and it was very helpful. She's got a lot of knowledge on how she wanted things done.
Yeah.
She wasn't, she wasn't going backwards, coming forwards with that. She was adamant. This is how we're doing it. And that was fine. And the trades that were working with her, there was two different carpenters on each house.
Yeah.
They all worked in well with it.
Well, again, you need to be open to that.
You need to be open
to someone coming on site and telling you this is how we're going to do it, and this might not be how you normally do it, but this is a learning process, and let's be open to it.
I think she stressed the importance, especially with the 10-star, of the value of the wrap and the airtightness that was required. So, it was just reinforcing that, hey, this is a key item. We've got to get it right.
Yeah, this airtightness was definitely also one of the challenges that I picked up from you, Les.
Well, it was something that we had a lot to do with.
Yeah.
A little bit. We did another job for SUHO down at Felixstowe, some energy houses down there. That was along the same lines, but not quite to the level of this.
Yeah.
So we had an idea when this all happened.
What impact does that have on for you guys and for
just
people
keeping everyone, electricians, plumbers, from brickies, from breaking normally, as any builder will know, if you put a wrap around a building, then there's going to be a few holes in it. Yeah. So, but this one we made sure that everyone was aware.
Had to be strategic.
And if there was a hole put in it, there was ways to deal with it. And repair it, and any penetration through there was dealt with properly.
Because even the services go below the slab.
Yeah, there's all through this building. There's layers, service layers running through that. Everything runs through it. Yeah. That was the issue, making sure everyone was aware of it. Sometimes it wasn't that easy to achieve, but most of the times we got there.
That's probably when you heard about it from Geraldine. If she come on site and someone had actually
penetrated
the layer.
It was a couple of areas where we had issues.
Were you here when Jess came and did the test?
Yeah, for both houses, yeah. It was...
Fingers crossed and
well,
so on.
both, I mean, both the houses sort of did, I think this one performed really well,
Yeah.
and the 8-star, I think, you know, that performed
above what they were
above what they
expected
thought.
to.
So
The people that were involved in the RAP were interested, just as interested as what we were, to see what the result was. Obviously, they were the ones that were doing the work.
and we did have another, I think I mentioned it, Jim from Enduro Builders, Jackson Digney.
Yeah.
He was supplying some gear to us for the RAP, for taping,
Yeah.
and he helped us out a bit, you know, with how to do these things, you know, a lot easier than we were thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was all helpful.
And again, you know, it's all about team effort here, I suppose, on this project. And I guess, you know, and maybe we haven't talked about this a lot in the series for those people who have watched more videos, but obviously we've built this 10-star home, which for all intents and purposes is a concept car. But then we decided next door is you know, using a lot of the same principles, an 8.3-star home, which is currently actually on the market for sale. And you guys have built both of them. Is there any distinct difference from a builder perspective between those two houses on how that went about?
I don't think, I mean, the 8-star wasn't as intense. I think
No, it wasn't.
It says about the service, the service layers, and
Here was, yeah, and Geraldine will agree, the insulation levels over there in the roof space could have been done a lot easier. This was the blow-in insulation,
Right.
and there was a under the rafters here. There's a board that they blew it in, so it's all done over there. It wasn't, should have been.
Yeah.
It was just hard to get the level of insulation in there, and then keep the wrap airtight.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the big issue we had.
Okay.
But we discussed it and
Was it helpful? Because I'm wondering, because this project started slightly earlier than the house next door, am I
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Did you already see that some of the experiences you were gaining on this project you could immediately adapt to the 8-star home and making it easier?
I'd say definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No,
It's a slightly different build, different finishes
Yeah.
externally.
Yeah.
We had a lot of inside knowledge doing
Yeah,
this
of
one.
course, immediately. And I think that's also something that I wanted to stress out for this video, that there is not a lot of builders in Australia or South Australia in particular that have that level of expertise in this kind of homes. So certainly for those people who are watching that are interested in building this kind of level of energy efficient homes and with this level of finishing, I don't think there's going to be a lot of builders around that will be able to accommodate. So certainly, you know, reach out if you are interested in such thing. And Jim, from your perspective, I mean, this came, you started to dream about this kind of house many years ago. Now you're sitting in it, having a chat with the builders who completed it. What are your thoughts?
It's pretty amazing. In working on the energy efficient side of it, you end up building a model of the building in your head.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to go into one of those buildings because you can actually, what you've imagined is actually made into real life. And
Yeah.
so it's really interesting to say, oh yes, that window is actually there and it has these sorts of shades and things on it. But the proof's really going to be in the pudding.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for the temperature sensors to be put online. And we really want to see whether it performs as well as it's supposed to perform when we start measuring it. That'll be as I said, that'll be the proof of the pudding. But certainly the finishes that the guys have been able to produce here are fabulous in both houses.
Yeah.
Certainly that attention to detail of being able to get that every piece to get to the 10-star house. There's so many little parts of the building need to come together. So the floor needs to be the right colour for the sunshine to come in and heat it up. So making sure that is the correct shade.
Yeah.
In a normal build, it may not matter if it's a little bit higher or a little bit lower, but having that level of attention to detail in the house, certainly as you come into it, you can certainly feel that level of attention to detail has been put into it.
That's certainly a response that I'm getting from the architects. And I can also say from I've been here pretty much every week for quite a while now, shooting these videos, meeting architects, and there is a little temperature meter over there, and I can say that it's been always comfortably around the 20 degrees mark, whether it was 30 plus outside, and I've had 10 degrees outside. So from my personal experience, the pudding or the pudding has been proven, but we're certainly going to let the data speak for us moving forward.
I know that everyone will be interested to see how it performs. Anyone that was involved in the project, even down to the toilets, and everyone will be interested to see.
I would imagine so. Yeah. Is there any more questions from your end, Jim, towards the builders of your project that I've not thought about?
It's just that difference between the 10-star and the 8-star. As you were saying before, the 10-star is more like a prototype house, and I don't know if we'd ever have the energy to go to the level of detail to build another one. But certainly we're keen to build more of the 8-star level sort of houses. But I guess the question is, now that we've built to that level, do you feel comfortable about building more of those?
Definitely. Yeah, no, I mean, I can see 10-star. It was a challenge. It was a big challenge, but the 8-star is more achievable.
Yeah.
And so,
And everyone that worked on it, or most people that worked on it would agree they'd be involved again. Once they've been involved in it, it's just a level of building.
Yeah, and it's also something to be, and it's probably a level of finishing and product that is something to be proud of. And I can imagine that not every builder gets the opportunity to build to that level, because a lot of times we're also being driven by the customers and the clients, and they may want to have a simple build, and budgets are really constrained. And not to say that's not the case in this project, but the level that we were trying to achieve was immediately well above what you could expect.
Definitely keen to be involved in future projects if the opportunity arises. There's no doubt.
Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, it does. Both these projects offer a point of difference that I think that anyone that's had involvement should be proud of. I know that we are Woolcock as a builder.
Yeah.
Certainly happy to be involved and showcase the end product. And Jim and I know that Les and as I said, any trade that was involved, everyone, although at times it's very challenging, everyone talks about it. They're interested to know how it's going and what's happening, and so definitely can.
That's good. And you know what? I guess we've got some awards on the table here, but the Carbon Neutral Awards is already one testimony to that. Being proud is something that is justified, because it's been getting a lot of attention, it's getting a lot of awards, and it's open now for visiting. So for those people that are interested in having a look and experiencing an actual 10-star home themselves, they can go to the 10-star home website, which is 10starhome.com.au. On the website you'll be also able to find all of our partners, including the Woolcock Group, and their details. If you do want to get in touch, I encourage you all to also go to our YouTube channel and have a look at all the different videos that we have. We also have some videos from when it was still under construction, and get a bit of a feel for how the build progressed, and what are the details that we were looking at. So, guys, thank you so much for coming in and talking.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Jim.
And thank you, Jim, for your idea.
Yeah, we're finally here, aren't we?
Finally here.
Well done, fellas.
So, excellent job. And I'm hoping that both the projects here will really help drive that transition, which I know, Jim, you're very passionate about personally, and I also hope that for you guys this will be the first two of many more to come.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
Cheers.